chaos is intentional. The poverty you see in Nigeria is definitely intentional. The stress we face in Nigeria is intentional. Our politicians are deliberately putting Nigerians under stress so that we are easy to control, we are cheaper to buy, and we are easy to manipulate. Because when a man is hungry, when a woman is hungry, all he or she cares about is, I need to eat. They don't have the time to look beyond their hunger, which is what a lot of our politicians are leveraging. They are pulling the strings of instability, not paying people's salary, keeping people's salary for months, sometimes for years. How are those people going to pay their children's school fees? And you know, in Nigeria, there's no support from any government. Everything you have to pay out of pocket. The chaos you see in Nigeria is all planned. Not just Nigeria, across Black African countries. It's planned. From the instability to the infrastructure deficit to the poverty to no electricity, fuel shortages, the refinery cannot work because of this and that. It's all planned, ladies and gentlemen. And the heartbreaking thing is this: our politicians are in on it. Our ruling class are in on it. I'm going to focus on Nigeria because that's my country and it's the country I know best and I want to speak on it. But it's not just limited to Nigeria, it's across African countries. You see, whenever there is chaos, corruption can thrive. Corruption barely thrives when there's stability and peace. If you look at Nigeria as our case study for this video, you will see that our politicians, they try their best to stoke instability within Nigerians, amongst Nigerians. Tribalism, for example, I say this to people, tribalism is a tool, just like racism is a tool, but in the case of Nigeria, tribalism is the tool that politicians they love to use to play to divide Nigerians even more. The average Nigerian, the man on the street, is very peaceful. The average Nigerian, the man, the woman on the streets, going about their business, are very friendly, jovial, kind, respectful. They have no problem with anybody. But the politician from the north, from the east, from the west to south, wherever, whatever tribe, that politician needs his people, his constituents, his community, people in his state, to look at each other with side eye so that he can now garner support. That politician needs to sow seeds of distrust amongst Nigerians so that he can have power. This is how tribalism thrives in Nigeria, because our politicians, they use that as a tool to stay in power and get in power. It's intentional. The chaos is intentional. The poverty you see in Nigeria is definitely intentional. The stress we face in Nigeria is intentional. Our politicians are deliberately putting Nigerians under stress so that we are easy to control, we are cheaper to buy, and we are easy to manipulate. Because when a man is hungry, when a woman is hungry, all he or she cares about is, I need to eat. They don't have the time to look beyond their hunger, which is what a lot of our politicians are leveraging. They are pulling the strings of instability, not paying people's salary, keeping people's salary for months, sometimes for years. How are those people going to pay their children's school fees? And you know, in Nigeria, there's no support from any government. Everything you have to pay out of pocket. When you are keeping teachers unpaid, they are frustrated. They need to think of, how do I make money? They don't have the time to sit down and analyze your political agenda, do they? No, because they're hungry. So you keep them hungry. When you don't build the roads as a Nigerian politician, as a governor, when you don't build the roads that you're supposed to build, when you don't give your people electricity, you don't empower them. When you don't empower your people, Nigerians in this case, guess what? They are at your beck and call, and they're easier to buy. They're easier to manipulate. They're easier to steal. They're easier to get. That is why Nigerian politicians instigate a culture of chaos. Because when the environment is chaotic, you can be corrupt. And the people are going to support your corruption because they're hungry and they're desperate. That is why politicians like to keep Nigerians hungry so that they can buy your vote for 5,000 naira, a bag of rice, a bag of beans, palm oil, $100 if you're lucky. Do you think that politician would be able to do that to a well-fed population? No! It is all planned. It is all planned. The roads are not built deliberately. Nigerians are being kept in loan by our government deliberately because our politicians are in cahoots. They are in cahoots to other powers that be to keep us in chains. They keep us in chains because the more chaotic subjugation they encourage, the more they benefit, the longer they can stay in power. Don't get shocked. Are you telling me Nigeria cannot have electricity? Are you really kidding me? Are you joking with me? Of course Nigeria can have electricity. Nigeria can have 24/7 electricity. But the thing is, it is more profitable. It is more profitable to the cabals that be, most of them high-ranking people in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. It is more profitable for a small group of people to keep Nigerians without electricity so that they can import fuel. It keeps the fuel business going. So that they can import generators. It keeps that generator business going. They don't care about the average Nigerian. It is all about their selfish interest. And as long as we have this kind of people leading us in Nigeria and having say in Nigeria, we will never grow as a country. The chaos is orchestrated deliberately. The chaos in Nigeria is orchestrated deliberately. It's all deliberate. The insecurities we face in the north is all deliberate by both our internal ruling class and the external powers. It is a collaboration because when there is a chaos in a country, corruption thrives. Why do you think the West send their military base, send their soldiers to come and help Africa fight? Yes, terrorism is still a thing. Have you noticed that? The West, with all their super weapons and all their high-tech stuff, they still cannot end that terrorism? You think they couldn't end it if they wanted to? Are you really kidding me? You really think the West couldn't end terrorism in Africa if they really wanted to? No. Yes, they can. But they don't stop it because it doesn't benefit them. You gotta think. That is why Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, what is the first thing they did when they took over power? They kicked out the French because Ibrahim Traore, Assami Goïta, I think that's the gentleman from Mali. Let me get their names. Sahel Alliance members. Yes. So that's Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso. I need to get their names. Yeah, that's Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and I think Mauritania. Oh, it's actually more countries are part of it actually. My goodness. Okay. Well, that's the first thing they did. They kicked out France. They kicked out France because with all the military power, they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it. Africa is more profitable, chaotic. Nigeria is profitable to the small cabals, chaotic. We as Nigerians, we need to start holding our politicians to account. There needs to be a revolution. But my point is, for Nigeria to change, we cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again. We need to use social media. Social media is the new tool of protest to my fellow Nigerians. We need to figure out a way to start getting attention to the things that actually matter. I've noticed that a lot of us Nigerians, we love to focus on things that don't really matter. I'm not trying to be offensive, but it's something that I've noticed. If you go on Google Trends right now and you see what Nigerians love to Google and search, it's useless shit. I'm sorry, but I think that's also deliberate. That's also deliberate. Everything is planned, man. They're trying to keep Nigerians distracted. They want to keep us distracted with the entertainment, with gossip, what's happening with Davido's life, what's happening in Burna Boy's life. Who the fuck cares, man? What are you doing as a governor? What are you doing as a senator? What are you doing as a local government chairman? That's what we care about because that's the things that has a direct influence on the average Nigerian's lives. It's all deliberate. The chaos is planned. Nigeria can definitely have electricity 24/7. Nigeria can definitely have good roads. Nigeria can definitely have food. Steady. We can become an economic juggernaut. But the truth of the matter is this. Our ruling class, our politicians, in cahoots with other partners, China, USA, Russia, whoever, they have collaborated to keep us, the people, at the bottom and a few at the top. And it's the job of those few to keep the majority in shambles. That is why they will instigate insecurity. They will stay in office and they want to stay in office till the day they die and name themselves king of a country. And they will be in office for decades, yet nothing has changed. Still corrupt as ever, poor as ever, destitute as ever. Meanwhile, they are billionaires. Is that natural to you? It's not. The chaos is intentional. Wise up.